skilled actors who have done other things. How is it different to do one, a monologue, and secondly, if it's related to that, what as an actor do you feel is special to act in a Conor McPherson play? I guess we'll start with the youngest one, Chris.
Oh, sure.
Did you know he was the youngest?
I told you he's a good actor. He just told me he's 83.
I just died.
I didn't think he was a day over 65.
Well, I would say what's unique about it is that the audience is your scene partner. That it's extremely different than interacting with one another. We can't help each other learn our lines. We can't play moments off each other. It's really just unloading everything from the inside to the audience and inviting them in to listen. Whereas, when you're on stage with another actor, the sort of motto is to always be listening and acting is reacting. It's different in this. They're just doing the listening. You're just unloading on them with everything. This is some brutal honesty about a lot of things. So that is unique. And also, the way that McPherson describes feelings and observations that are so human, but those don't make it always into other plays. Just the funny way he describes things, it really makes it feel so real. Just reading through it, I can picture the gigs and the band and how they sound and the smells and all these different things, because he's so descriptive, and that's always a treat as an actor.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I hope you picked up on that. I mean, he said that in doing especially monologues, that it was awful like writing a novel or making a movie, because it works by images. And I hope you saw that was working on you, that you were creating this in your head. These guys were doing some of the acting every once in a while to sort of guide you, but that Conor has this ability to use these resonant images that make it really go on in your head. Yeah.
Me? Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
Joe?
It goes without saying, when you're doing a monologue, as Chris pointed out, you just don't have the energy of the other actor to feed off of. Matthew and I, as a matter of fact, I'm always inclined to call him Tommy, because when we were in another play together, he played the role of Tommy, and I was playing another role, and I just want to call him Tommy still. Yeah, I know. Only because we interacted, and there were those days when I walked in and something was missing. But I had him he wasn't trying to push me, but it was his energy that was feeding me something. And let me just say, as a caveat to that, when these guys are on their game and I'm sitting there, it can be a push. I don't think it's necessarily a theatrical push. I don't think it's a competitive thing. It's performing with guys, but for the most part, that's what you miss when you're doing monologues. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about a Conor McPherson play is a sense of depth. And he digs deep. And no matter what level of depth you go to, you're bound to uncover something that is highly intriguing. Particularly, I noticed, and it would be sometimes, it's very sad, but as we're up here on stage, what you don't know is how we're going through our lines for the next scene, right? And so often I'm not able to enjoy the beautiful monologues of either Kevin or Dermot. And it wouldn't have been until about a week ago that I thought to myself, oh my God, Dermot has that lovely moment at the end of his last monologue where he rises up out of it. That's a beautiful gift of a playwright, to be able to remove time and or space, to remove himself so that you're looking down at something. And God willing, you're able to take that as an audience member with you. And the last thing I just want to say very quickly, I don't know that this could be done as a movie or a TV movie. I'd say you were to take it and to break it down and cast a Sister Pat or a Speedy or whatever, you might be able to do something, but you wouldn't create an image that was nearly as satisfactory on the screen as you would in your own mind. And that's what you call theatricality, and that's why you come to the theater.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I agree. I would add to that, that if you get as interested as I am in Conor and sort of study the sweep of his work, this is when he was at his most literary.
Yeah.
So, like you say, the images are there, but they're crafted by the words. And if you tried to put this into film, you'd have a real hard time. Now, he did take one of his monologues, Lime Tree Bower, and turned it into a really interesting film called Saltwater, if you ever get to see it. But he had to add a lot of characters, he had to add a lot of action that wasn't in the play in order to get it work, and that kind of playing off of each other was completely lost. So you really did, once you move away from this kind of literary thing, things get lost.
And if I just may add very quickly,
Sure.
there's a reason why Scarlet Letter never worked as a movie, because most of the journey is internal. There's a lot of external action that takes place, but the beauty of it is all internal. Similarly, Of Mice and Men, which can work beautifully as a play or a movie, we've seen it, but the beauty of that book is all internal. I'm speaking as a former English teacher now. So, you know, this is not unique to Conor McPherson or just playwriting.
Yeah, it's another great subject for you to think about, the conversion of things from word to the image. Yeah. Matt?
They said everything. The thing about his plays is that he's so specific, and the way he describes things, it's so beautiful. I mean, just little. I mean, I think about when in the beginning when I say she took up half the couch and watched EastEnders, and that just these little things, the way he phrases things, you kind of get what's going on, and it's just so amazing. I don't know how he does it, because he's just telling a story, but it's so rich and so deep, and these characters are so filled. I mean, this Dermot is just just a fascinating character, and just the way he constructed him, and Mary is, to me, so alive, and that's that other character. So in a way, I sort of feel like I'm, in kind of a way, it's not a monologue, because I think Mary is right there all the time, and so she's right there.
Yeah, what they all have in common, Conor, one of his early phrases when he was first becoming a famous playwright was the key to the actors, he would say, is trust the story to do the work. And you see what respect they have for not only this play, but for Conor's use of images and words. And it puts them in a funny position of, on the one hand, they want to act, especially in situations where they have to sort of act things out because the audience needs some help here to sort of see what's going on, or especially the tone of, well, my wife said, and you've got to get that across. But on the other hand, they want to underplay it enough that that powerful story that Conor has, that it really takes the action along, and as we said before, that's in your head.
The thing that I had the hardest time in the beginning was, why am I talking? Who am I talking to? And so that comment that he made, that Conor McPherson made to the other actor about, you're confessing to God, and you can't leave until you tell the truth. That really helped, because it's like, okay, so I am really confessing to these people. I am sharing stuff, and I'm trying to bullshit some of it, but at the end, it's like, okay, this is the truth. I didn't feel anything when I held my kid, and it really helps to think. We're just unloading. And you were talking about that Port Authority, that port.
Oh yeah, it was just like
the definition of port.
Well, the definition of port, just to see like what Webster's dictionary puts it as, is a place to unload and load cargo. And we have a lot of cargo to unload, and that was sort of like, that's it, But also very much so about the idea of ships or people passing. They're all kind of doing the same thing, but they are all very much alone and
we're all in the water together. We're sharing the water, but we're really on our separate paths.
Yeah, Conor, apologize.